Welcome back to the Lead2Xceed chat with me, Henry Baye. In today's chat, I will be building on our conversation on respect. Soon after we put out the two-part chat on respect, we had one of our regular viewers asking the question, what do you do with a disrespectful boss? In order to handle this subject comprehensively, we will do a two-part series which will touch on bosses, peers, and other staff. In our previous episodes, we defined respect as acknowledging the inherent worth in a person and valuing that worth through our actions, words, and basically everything that we do. There are times that we get into situations though where our bosses show us disrespect, and this disrespect comes in different forms. Imagine coming to work and enjoying a wonderful day, and suddenly along comes your boss who screams at you or says disrespectful things in front of everybody. This can turn a rather bright day into a gloomy or even disastrous one. No matter who bosses are and no matter what they have achieved, no one working for them deserves to be treated with disrespect. In today's chat, we'll be looking at the whole subject of disrespect from bosses and what to do when you work for a boss that shows you disrespect. Just as a reminder, there are various ways in which bosses show disrespect. The first one is how they communicate with you both verbally and non-verbally. Some of the recognizable ways in which bosses show disrespect in communication is the way they use abusive language, they talk down at you, they talk you down in front of other people, and sometimes they just ignore you and never really acknowledge your contribution or anything you say in a conversation. Secondly, bosses show disrespect in work-related matters. And these will include assigning you tasks that are the most irrelevant tasks, micromanaging you, not valuing your time, not giving explanations about anything, and constantly changing their minds about what you should be doing or not doing or what you should be prioritizing. The third area is how your boss attitude is when it comes to your personal needs. This manifests in bosses not being sensitive to your needs, yet always wanting you to be at their beck and call, be at their disposal. Sometimes also they just don't even notice when things are wrong with you, but they just get on with work. There are some bosses who by nature are disrespectful, and they show disrespectful behavior in most situations. With some bosses, there are isolated incidents of disrespect, and with some others, disrespect has been occasioned by something they themselves are going through. They're struggling with something, and so they themselves have become a bit more irritable. And this kind of irritation manifests in disrespect. At the root of disrespectful behavior are beliefs. This includes just a belief system that being the boss, I can do anything, I can say anything and get away with it. Sometimes also they will show disrespect because they believe that something a staff has done makes them deserve to be treated that way. Some bosses also show disrespect without realizing actually that they are being disrespectful. And yet others will show disrespect because their own bosses have showed them disrespect and they are just cascading it, or just maybe the whole team has let them down in one way or the other and they're just kind of giving it out. The truth is that no matter what circumstances drive the disrespect or what is the motivation for their behavior, the impact it has on people is negative and mostly destructive. The difficulty with dealing with these kinds of behaviors from bosses is that they hold the decision rights of what happens to people at work. And so depending on how one deals with their behaviors, one could be walking a dangerous path. How this works will of course vary from one organizational culture to another. Some cultures create an ease with confronting such behaviors, and bosses are expected to take feedback, act on it, and change behavior. And in some organizational cultures, this is less so. I would, however, like to proffer a few tips on how to deal with disrespectful bosses. And I'll suggest this in three parts. The first part is make it more difficult to be disrespected. Focus on building a strong personal brand and gravitas. A personal brand that is built on performance, respect, humility, leadership helps you develop what is called gravitas. Gravitas built on these values is hard to disrespect. You will find that even disrespectful bosses sometimes tend to be selective who they ply their disrespect trade with. Remember this quote from Rachel Hollis: people treat you with as much or as little respect as you allow them to. You can't force a person to show you respect, but you can make it difficult to be disrespected or even refuse to be disrespected. Secondly, manage yourself. Managing yourself is about how you react to disrespect. If disrespectful behavior has a detrimental effect coming from your boss, then responding with disrespect is not the solution. Managing yourself means that you must learn how to moderate your reaction. How you moderate includes taking a pause, getting out of the environment where disrespect is happening, taking a break, etc. Managing yourself also includes always keeping an eye on your own worth. As an individual, you are far more valuable than your boss's limited view of you can ever see. Keep an eye on your worth, value yourself, and live above disrespectful behavior. It is clear that it is the quality of your work. If it is clear that it is the quality of your work that is attracting disrespectful behavior, then cure that by getting the right feedback and making the changes that bring your work to the right standard. I am not saying that performance issues are a license for bosses to be disrespectful. All I'm saying is that if it is the root cause, then deal with it. Thirdly, confront the issue with your boss. Find an opportunity to speak with your boss. Draw his or her attention to the behavior in a non-confrontational and culturally acceptable ways. Draw your boss's attention, how the behavior makes you feel. Give your boss a listen and seek to understand what is driving their behavior and seek to understand the actual root causes. Remember that in some cases, your boss may be the one who needs help. Don't expect this to go in one way though. Some bosses will receive your feedback very well and even apologize for their behavior and promise change, while some others might be offended that you confronted them and react very badly. Sometimes speaking to someone they respect and in whom you can be sure of confidentiality and maturity could be useful. This has to be done with great judgment. They might help you understand better how to deal with the issue or even help you understand the root cause. And finally, you should use the company resources at your disposal. If disrespectful behavior continues, or if you're speaking to your boss creates a conflagration of the issue, then utilize the organization's resources available to you. This may include speaking to HR or the use of grievance channels to get HR to address the issue if nothing works. But above all, consider quitting if all these do not help, as you are already on a collision course and it becomes toxic in that instance. Let me conclude that disrespect from a boss can be dealt with in sound ways. It is important to keep your dignity and do not add fuel to a fire by acting illogically and emotionally. Be logical and solve this issue maturely. Your boss may learn a thing or two. Be polite, yet never compromise on your self-esteem. If the situation is serious, take your case to HR, file a complaint, and if nothing works out, and this happens frequently, just leave the job. As I bring this chat to a close, as always, do you have a leadership question that you would like answered? Have you heard anything in this video that has triggered a question on your mind? Or is there any thought that you would like us to explore some more? If you answered yes to any of these questions, then by all means shoot a question or suggestion at us via this channel or the email on your screen. And don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to this channel. Also hit the notification or bell button so that you will be the first to know when we share new content. This has been me, Henry Baye, on the Lead2Xceed channel. Lead2Xceed, inspiring leaders, multiplying impacts.